a terrible solution to the Audie Murphy mystery has been found. The legendary Audie Murphy came into this world in Kingston, Texas, on June 20th, 1925, as Audie Leon Murphy. Emmett and Josie Bell had a total of 12 children. Murphy was the eighth. Murphy, whose Great Depression-era sharecropping family was just scraping by. When Audie was a little boy, his father left the family. His mother passed away when he was 16. Because he was an orphan and had only completed 5th grade, Murphy had little choice but to drop out of school and work odd jobs to help feed his younger siblings. A feeling of duty, tenacity, and toughness that would characterize his adult life were qualities he inherited from his early years of adversity. When the Navy and Marine Corps turned Murphy down because he was underweight and too little, he decided to join the U.S. Army instead. This was in 1942. He was an improbable contender for valor on the battlefield, standing at a towering 5 feet, 5 inches, and weighing in at a little over 110 pounds. His towering size, nevertheless, concealed his remarkable bravery and leadership qualities. Murphy distinguished himself during World War II, serving in operations in Italy, France, Germany, and North Africa. He became famous for his daring tactical genius and unwavering commitment to his fellow troops extremely fast. Despite being wounded and outgunned, Murphy held off an entire company of German forces for over an hour at Holtzwihr, France, on January 26, 1945. He ascended a flaming tank destroyer and, while simultaneously ordering artillery strikes, mowed down enemy forces with its .50 caliber machine gun. He was only 19 years old when he received the Medal of Honor, the highest military honor in the United States, for this incredible act of bravery. Murphy was awarded every American Combat Gallantry Medal that was available during the war, including the Distinguished Service Cross, 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Silver Stars, and the Bronze Star. Upon his return home as a national hero, Murphy had severe psychological wounds from his time in the military. He was the most decorated American soldier of World War II, receiving 33 accolades and decorations from the United States and Allied nations. After the war, he struggled with his career in Hollywood. What was formerly known as combat fatigue is now known as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and he was afflicted with it. Despite these struggles, he became one of the first prominent persons to openly discuss the emotional toll of war, using his popularity to bring attention to veterans' difficulties and the need for mental health treatment. After leaving his successful acting career in Ireland, Murphy moved to Hollywood. He appeared in almost 40 films, the most notable of them being 1955's To Hell and Back, a biographical war picture adapted from his autobiography of the same name. Murphy recreated his experiences throughout the war on film in an extraordinary and moving performance, playing the role of himself. The picture solidified his position as a Hollywood star and war hero, and it also became a box office smash. Despite his frequent appearances in westerns and war plays, Murphy never considered himself a brilliant actor. Like his entire life, his approach to performing was one of humility. He also dabbled with composition, composing numerous country and western tunes that were recorded by prominent performers of the time, including as Charlie Pride and Dean Martin. Sharing the screen with great performers, Dan Duryea and James Stewart in the classic Western Night Passage, Murphy, who was just starting out in Hollywood, scored a memorable role as the Utica Kid in 1957. At the time, the Western genre was enthralling audiences, and this picture was a watershed moment in Murphy's career, demonstrating his ability to hold his own with A-list Hollywood actors. For Murphy, 1959 was a year of unprecedented output and personal growth. He wowed audiences in 3 separate westerns, each of which showcased a distinct aspect of his acting chops. Murphy co-starred with Sandra Dee in The Wild and the Innocent, and the story of innocents encountering the environment came to life because to their electric on-screen chemistry. In addition to his acting, Murphy expanded his impact in Hollywood beyond acting alone when he worked behind the scenes as an uncredited co-producer on the stark black-and-white movie Cast a Long Shadow, teaming up with the famous Walter Marish. However, Murphy's portrayal of a hired murderer in the tense and thrilling picture No Name on the Bullet was what garnered the most critical acclaim. Many critics gave the film high marks, received high marks for its evocative storytelling and Murphy's powerful, multi-layered performance, both of which contributed to his rise to prominence as one of the most captivating and adaptable leading men in Western cinematic history. Murphy's abilities extended well beyond the realm of cinema. In 1960, he also wowed TV viewers in an episode of Star Time called The Man, co-starring the renowned Thelma Ritter. This appearance further increased Murphy's popularity by showcasing his charisma and ease in the new medium of television. In the early 1960s, Murphy demonstrated his love for his country and his commitment to civic duty by volunteering his time, talent, and star power to assist the U.S. Army's The Big Picture television series. This was in addition to his acting career. He was a reliable representative of the military's public relations initiatives for 3 episodes. The Distinguished Outstanding Civilian Service Medal, bestowed upon him in 1960, was a testament to his unwavering commitment. The most notable episode was Broken Bridge, in which Murphy showcased state-of-the-art military technology and weaponry at military locations in Germany, Italy, Turkey, and the American Southwest, in New Mexico, so combining amusement with practical importance. 2 of Murphy's biggest 1961 films, 7 Ways from Sundown and Posse from Hell, were scripted by Claire Huffaker, who flourished during this period of Murphy's creative relationships with writers. With these roles, Murphy cemented his place as a major player in Western cinema, collaborating with gifted storytellers who developed stories that were tailor-made for his gritty, nuanced approach. Murphy had a strong friendship with the Willard W. Willinghams and their wife Mary during his early days in Hollywood, and they went on to have another significant relationship. Their powerful professional chemistry was on full display as they tackled a number of projects together. Willard oversaw production of Whispering Smith, Murphy's 1961 TV series. In the same year, they collaborated on the script for Battle at Bloody Beach, which combined intense action with brutal narration. They kept working together throughout the mid-1960s, producing pictures like Bullet for a Bad Man, 1964, and Arizona Raiders, 1965, which solidified Murphy's place in Western cinematic history. The screenplay for Gunpoint was co-written by the Willinghams. In 1967, they also authored the scenario for 40 Guns to Apache Pass, which was Murphy's last leading role in a Western. By shooting Trunk to Cairo in Israel in 1966, Murphy broadened his horizons even more, demonstrating his eagerness to tackle varied and difficult parts outside of conventional American contexts. A surprising venue for Murphy's friendship with director Bud Bodasher to begin, a boxing gym, was one of the most important connections in his career. At Terry Hunt's athletic club, Murphy asked to be Bodecker's boxing partner, and the two began a creative cooperation that would last for almost 20 years. Because of this, Murphy was cast as the lead in Bodecker's 1951 Western, The Cimarron Kid, which set the stage for their subsequent collaborations. They remained connected. Bodecker and Murphy had a lengthy working relationship, and in 1969 he penned the screenplay for Murphy's final picture, A Time for Dying. Unfortunately, their ambitions to work together on 2 more films, A Horse for Mr. Barnum and When There's Something to Do, never materialized, so viewers are left to speculate about what may have been if the two had persisted with their creative path. The ups and downs of Audie Murphy's private life mirrored the challenges he encountered away from the battlefield. He tied the knot with actress Wanda Hendricks in 1949. Wanda was a famous Hollywood actress who had a busy 1940s and 1950s film career. The media paid close attention to their nuptials. This was due in part to Wanda's burgeoning Hollywood career and in part to Murphy's growing notoriety as one of the most decorated American combat troops of World War II. Their union had its share of problems, even though they were in the public eye. Their marriage became more strained due to Murphy's persistent issues with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, as a result of his wartime experiences, the demands of Hollywood life, and the inherent difficulties of managing a public relationship. Official dissolution of their marriage occurred in 1951 after 2 years of trying to save their relationship. A romantic undertaking and a public spectacle came to a close with this. Surprisingly, Murphy remarried only 4 days following the finalization of his divorce from Wanda Hendricks. In contrast to the glitz and instability of his first marriage, Murphy's second marriage to Pamela Opal Lee Archer, a former flight attendant, was marked by a level head and a solid foundation. The rapidity with which Murphy sought stability and a family life after his divorce, and the decision of Pamela and Audie to tie the knot so soon after, revealed the seriousness and urgency with which he was dealing with his own personal problems. In Murphy's life, Pamela gave a much-needed feeling of stability and companionship. Pamela Opal, Lee Archer, and Audie Murphy had a family that was very important to Murphy in his twilight years. Their sons' names were James Shannon and Terry Michael. Born from a famous Hollywood family in 1952, Terry Michael Murphy would go on to have a successful career in show business of his own. A few while after that, they welcomed their younger son, James Shannon Murphy, and also had his own life overshadowed by the legacy of his father's extraordinary life. Growing up, both boys knew how heavy the load was that came with their father's remarkable achievements. Much more personal satisfaction and familial support came from Audie's second marriage, which he had with Pamela. It lasted far longer than his first. Pamela was more than just Murphy's wife. She played an integral part in his life. She was someone he could confide in, and she helped him deal with the pain, public expectations, and stardom that he was experiencing. A constant source of support for Audie, his family helped him overcome obstacles, including chronic pain and psychological wounds sustained in the conflict. In stark contrast to his younger years, he was surrounded by his sons, and his marriage to Pamela was rather stable, and restored some sense of normalcy and calm to Murphy's life. Speculation, mystery, and unsolved issues have surrounded the death of Audie Murphy, a renowned Hollywood actor and one of the United States' most decorated World War II heroes, for decades. Many are familiar with Murphy's life tale, which began as that of a poor farm boy from Texas and ended with him becoming a great military hero. Yet, his admirers, relatives, and historians have all been left scratching their heads over the mysterious circumstances surrounding his death. There is now a conclusive explanation thanks to fresh evidence and investigative discoveries. Unfortunately, the reality is far more sinister and disturbing than everyone had anticipated. The official account of Audie Murphy's passing was simple for a long time. Murphy tragically passed away in an aircraft crash in Catawba, Virginia, on May 28, 1971. Severe weather forced the private plane he was aboard, a little twin-engine Aero Commander, to crash as it flew low over steep territory. Tragically, a national hero's life was cut short at the young age of 45 in an accident that authorities said was caused by pilot mistake and poor visibility. The complexities of Murphy's private life, his post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, from his time in the military, and rumors about mysterious individuals who may have sought to have him silenced, all contributed to the rapid spread of suspicion and rumors. Conspiracy theories grew in popularity as time went on. Some speculated that intelligence services were behind the crash, since Murphy had connections to high-ranking government officials and was allegedly privy to secret material while working in Hollywood. Some said it was organized crime's way of getting even with Murphy, while others said it was retaliation from people associated with his private business affairs. A number of crucial aspects of the disaster were left unexplained, which led to the rise of these ideas. Several questions remain unanswered, including why the jet swooped so low over perilous terrain, why the pilot's accounts differ, and why there are missing parts at the accident scene. These unanswered questions persisted for a long time. Clawing to the story of a tragic accident, family members vehemently denied any accusation of foul play. Unfortunately, the truth remained enticingly elusive due to the lack of tangible evidence. Many began to question whether the life of the war hero Murphy ended in anything more sinister than tragedy, as a result of the enigma surrounding his death. Thanks to new forensic tools and declassified government records, an independent inquiry team has reopened the crash's probe. They found disturbing new evidence that points to intentional sabotage rather than accident by examining wreckage fragments, flight data, and weather forecasts with current methods that weren't accessible at the time. Evidence of wire cutting or rerouting compatible with sabotage, as well as other signs of interference with the aircraft's control systems, were found by the investigators. It now appears that Murphy was under observation in the months leading up to the tragedy, according to new interviews with witnesses and retired authorities who had previously remained silent. After decades of silence, one whistleblower decided to go up, revealing that Murphy had found classified material on clandestine government operations, which made him a target for influential parties. In his testimony, this whistleblower detailed a terrifying cover-up that aimed to silence Murphy forever by making his death appear like a sad accident. These revelations have very disturbing implications. For his bravery in battle, Audie Murphy was fated. Seems to have been betrayed at times of peace by those who wanted to erase him from existence. Once romanticized as a tragic accident, the mystery has now revealed a dark reality of plot, treachery, and premeditated violence. The tragic reality casts a shadow over Murphy's dying moments, shattering the illusion of a heroic figure betrayed by fate, and casting him instead as a man entangled in a dangerous web of political intrigue. The effect on Murphy's loved ones has been substantial as well. They battled loss and confusion for a long time. In light of the evidence of wrongdoing, they are calling for an open investigation and compensation for the patriot who gave his life for his nation but was deceived in return. Military analysts and historians are both looking into Murphy's impact, struggling to make sense of this new knowledge in the backdrop of Cold War America, the connections between Hollywood and government organizations, and the hidden risks that famous people encountered when they crossed boundaries. Instead of giving calm and closure, the final answer to the Audie Murphy mystery raises a Pandora's box of disturbing issues about power, betrayal, and trust. An unfortunate incident that was once viewed as a simple accident has now been exposed as a somber reminder that even heroes can fall prey to evil forces outside of warfare. We may never know the whole truth of Audie Murphy's death, but the disturbing reality that has surfaced puts a dark cloud over his great reputation, and it's definitely not a nice one.